Thank you, guys. Let me introduce myself. My name is Atul Khatri. Let me introduce my good friend Arun. Arun Satyam, who's the co-founder of Hyreo, a candidate engagement solution for recruiting. Hyreo has been working with multiple companies globally to improve candidate engagement using intelligent technology and data. Welcome, my friend Arun.
Thank you so much, Atul. A very good afternoon, and to all of you, and trust you all are doing great. My name is Arun. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hyreo, a candidate engagement and experience platform. Basically, I represent a bunch of engineers, designers, HR enthusiasts, and data scientists who believe in creating better recruiting experience for candidates and recruiting teams by using smarter technology, some bit of data, and reusing some of the principles of customer relationship management. Thank you, Atul, for opening it up. Your life is an absolute inspiration for a lot of people. I hope we get to see more of your jokes, and trust me, guys, he's still going to be around, and there'll be more from Atul coming in. All right, so let me start a little bit of that serious stuff that we are here for. 2020 and 2021, two very different years probably in our entire life. 2020 and 2021 will go down in modern human history as testimony to the human resilience and grit. What kept us moving was our reliance on science and technology, and I believe that this will keep us safe and connected and help us solve problems in the future as well. The theme for today's event, People Matters event, Reemergence of HR and work tech, kind of aptly captures the journey that we all are in today and for the days to come. Now, having said that, a lot of disruption happened in the last few months. I've tried to plot a very simple talent demand graph that you see on the screen. I hope you all can. Of course, this is not drawn on scale, but more illustrative. Somewhere, March, April of 2020, we saw this huge dip in talent demand. It went for close to 2 quarters straight. Enterprises and workforce were going through anxiety, some bit of panic as well. Enterprises went into sort of, keeping the lights on, scaling up infrastructure, enabling remote workforce. Employee well-being became a priority for companies. Costs obviously had to be kept low. Somewhere towards middle of Q3, Q4 last year, probably we started seeing some sort of an upswing back, especially with large volume sectors like IT, engineering, etc., making a comeback. There was hope in the air. But what was interesting during that time that we all saw in different sessions and webinars and all of that was this whole usage of digital as a term. And as we moved into 2021, we did have a little bit of dip again because of wave 2, etc. I think at least the prospects today looks more promising, and I believe that we're going to see a lot more of digital transformation growth stories that are going to unfold in the ecosystem, and that's all something that we have been waiting for a long time. Now, having said that, a lot of things did change. For example, if you take talent acquisition, and this is the subject that we're kind of looking at today, right from selection to onboarding a candidate, everything was so much in person. We used to meet people in office. There used to be informal chats, coffee meetings, leadership meetings, in-person onboarding sessions. Now everything has changed, and everything has become, converged into your laptop in the form of Zooms and Meets and whatnot. Now, some of these research and analysis that has gone into, finding out how this is going to evolve. For example, LinkedIn survey recently published that 80% of the talent professionals that they interviewed in the last few quarters felt that recruiting is going to be still virtual even after the whole pandemic is over. So
I
some
agree.
of the things that we are going to prepare ourselves for to make the right processes, to build the right infra out there are probably going to be used for future as well. In the sense, it's not just for a day or two. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, so we are a company who works with enterprises, facilitating better candidate experience through automating some of the candidate engagement processes and stuff like that. And today, what I thought is I'll share a few learnings. There are quite a few, but in the interest of time, share a few quick ones that I felt might be relevant for all of us. And of course, based on the organization and what you're looking for. Now, before we dive into that, let's look at the recruiting table, for example, two sides of the story. On one side, you have the recruiter. The recruiter, is trying to balance a different set of priorities as opposed to a candidate. I wouldn't say it's conflicting, but obviously the priorities are quite different. The recruiter is trying to manage scale, hundreds of thousands of candidates. He or she is trying to, manage the consistency when you deliver the same kind of process across so many candidates and complex, recruiting processes to follow. And of course, the stakeholder management that's in-house. These are some of their priorities. On the other side, candidates are looking for quick responses. They want information about status, what to do next, personalization in their own ways. And if you're looking at the current workforce dominated by millennials and Gen Z is almost hitting the workforce, they are least tolerant, to lack of clarity. Now, for our discussion purpose, of course, we're going to focus more on the recruiter and what we could do on that side of things to optimize and make things better. Some of the learnings that we had, let's quickly jump into that one by one. The first thing that I will talk about is the changing mindset of recruiters that we found. The concept of comparing recruiters to sales guys and candidates to customers. I think this debate has been there for a long time. Our take is that there is merit in this comparison, and it always pays if the recruiter wears the talent relationship hat. But in actuality, the recruiter plays a far more complex role than a typical sales guy. On one side, he or she is trying to sell the candidate to the business. They're trying to sell the hiring process, to what is the best way to hire talent for that particular position, and also trying to sell the need for engaging with active candidates more than anybody else. The other side, or the tougher part, obviously, for the recruiter is to sell the job and the role to the candidate. Sell articulate the benefits of being associated with the brand and why today. Now, in some of the engagements that we work with customers, and when we started analyzing the data, we felt that recruiters who intervene, honestly with candidates to solve their problems, that has been hugely appreciated. And if we deal with candidates like customers, create win-win propositions for both parties and be prompt and professional and interactive, the results can be pretty good. Long story short, I would say treat candidates like our customers. One of the things that we learned during this cycle time.
Totally agree with you.
Now, right, and as we move from what we call the brick and mortar model into a very virtual hiring processes, should we be looking at the way we actually select and onboard candidates? Do we need to simplify the whole process in itself? Maybe have less number of process steps. And more importantly, are we making a deliberate effort to communicate in a digital space in terms of what is expected from the candidate? Now, I've tried to share some of the actual candidate comments that came on our platform, which are, obviously taken off the names and customer references, etc. But there are a number of questions that you can see, I don't know if you can, on the screen, which talks about candidates asking for information and they're kind of lost in the process. Now, if I look at some of the interactions that happen on our conversational bot and the kind of automation levels that run there, we found that around 49% of candidate interactions in the pre-offer stage had at least one or two of those queries coming up in these conversations, which makes us believe that there is a lot more that we could do to actually communicate better, simplify the process, and make it more effective for candidates. And when we looked at CSATs or the feedback coming about the overall recruiting experience of the company, a whopping 21% had negative comments because there was either bad communication or there was lack of clarity. So I think simplifying the process that is in tune with what we see today and how do we clearly articulate and communicate with the candidates upfront would make a lot of difference in today's world. Now, something very related to that, which we found in India, for example, your hiring cycle is a month to 4 months old. It's 4 months long. It's a fairly long cycle. Something that goes without saying, but often forgotten, is how do you stay in touch with candidates across this, hiring cycle? On our research on the data that we got, around 29% of candidates reported that recruiters come back with information or respond late to their queries, and by then a lot of damage is already done, or you've created a bad experience in front of them. Now, as we're talking about engaging with candidates, all of these different stages, if you fail to engage with candidates, especially who are in the more advanced stages of selection, let's say post-selection or post-offer, it could be far more damaging, especially in today's context when offer declines are probably at the highest, that the tech or engineering or some of the high-tech verticals have seen in the recent past. And the classic number that I typically say here is 18% of the candidates who declined their offer had mentioned about compensation, discussions that are required with the recruiter, which was never done on time. So what I'm trying to say here is, right, so you're losing 18% just because we didn't have, the right communication at the right time. Now, I understand that, recruiting is not just the recruiter. There is, business involved, offer management, background verification, all sorts of teams involved. But if you can improve collaboration and have tools which can help you stay connected and address this problem in a way, it might sound like a lot of work, but I think if you can do that, the results can be super exciting. And also, something that we saw consistently on the comments that we get from the candidates is, as they are also struggling to figure out this whole work from home and their own challenges at home, being empathetic and supporting them goes a long way as you sort of keep engaging with the candidates throughout the cycle time. This is more like a cliche these days. Data in recruiting. Now we've done HR analytics for a long time. We've been using data analytics in a lot of places in talent acquisition and that journey from candidate to employee. We use data to sort of find the right match, get the right fitment, to analyze their longevity in the organization, and so on and so forth. But as things get more digital, you might also want to be looking at their pulse, their sentiments. How do they see our brand? There are different ways you could look at it. Understand what helps and what support really is what they are looking for, and keep looking at the key performance metrics that recruiters are having to go through. The point is, it's not just about having platforms or tools that can actually build these data elements. What's crucial is, are HR teams trained and capable of managing and understanding and acting based on some of these data elements, which could be extremely handy, in today's world. Yeah, because we started talking about technology. Now, a lot of what we said, staying connected, communication, digital, and so on and so forth. I think all of these strategies that we spoke about have, something to do with better utilization of existing technologies, or having to, acquire or adopt newer technologies that would make sense in today's world. Now, however, adding new technology, is always a tough decision. And typically, two questions come up. Which technology is right? I think because there is dime a dozen, hundreds of thousands of different options that are available for enterprises to choose from. And also, what is the ROI that you're going to get from those tools? I think there are different ways to look at it, and this in itself is a fairly large discussion per se. But I would break it down into doing two or three things. Firstly, we spoke about simplifying the process, getting different stakeholders to collaborate and come together. So essentially, you need a roadmap, you need a plan which is bringing all of these stakeholders together, and we are able to implement it for the good of everybody in the team. Secondly, this is everything that you kind of bring in, you have to augment your existing infrastructure, and more importantly, should not add additional operational effort for a recruiter. Now, if you invest in automation, and if you're able to build better user engagement, better query resolution, better coordination, those are not adding additional effort as far as the recruiter is concerned. And my personal take is things that ease the work of a recruiter in today's context is what's going to be more important. And finally, culture plays an important role, be it the regional cultural aspect or the organizational culture, because for tech projects to take off and get good traction internally, also these elements are super sort of important.
Very important.
Now, right? I'll kind of summarize and close with this last slide and leave you all with Atul again. What is the impact? Now, what is the impact of making candidate journey to employee seamless, predictable, and transparent and easy to manage? The first thing is the ROI in terms of dollars. Now, there are different ways you could look at it. Technology and all of these things could lower your time to hire, which obviously is important for the business. Maximize your offer conversion or get the maximum out of all the effort that goes into it. Reducing potential billability loss. If you're a service company, you still have people joining on time, which gives you opportunity to create more revenue. And if you're a product company, obviously that impacts directly your time to market as far as your product is concerned. So there is definitely a cost advantage as you make this journey smoother and effective. Secondly, and I think more importantly, the employer brand aspect of it. This is an intangible, but I think this is the most important thing as far as your brand is concerned in front of potential, future employees. So take a good next step in ensuring that you got it right in front of your potential employees. And lastly, as you do efficient automation roadmaps implemented and improve team collaboration, as we were talking about, this greatly impacts the recruiter productivity. So that's super critical in today's world, as we saw the kind of issues that we kind of faced in the last few months. At the end of the day, it's about managing the change. It's about adapting to the new ways of work. And I think some of what we discussed today might be of relevance to you. Thank you so much. Have a great 2-3 days of wonderful learning and fun. Take care and stay safe, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. That's our time. Thank you so much. And I hope you find some of the insights which you heard from Arun interesting and worth trying out. Please do visit the Hyreo virtual booth area and know more. And wherever you guys are, stay safe, stay mentally positive. And thank you so much and have an amazing 3 days of learning and fun. Thank you so much. Over to you. Thank you, guys.